It's 9 M. Le 25 juin 2025. In the South China Sea, 180 nautical miles from the Spratly Islands, the cruiser USS Princeton picks up 3 fast-moving radar tracks. Alarms shriek. "Battle stations," the captain shouts. Crew rush through tight corridors, slamming watertight doors. Outside, the sea glitters under harsh sun, then turns electric as J-15 fighters roar low over the horizon. Within seconds, the USS Nimitz carrier group comes alive. Radars glow, jets spin up, unknown signals jam comms. Someone's trying to blind them. Link 16 check full network online, the tactical officer yells. An E-2D Hawkeye sweeps overhead, locking targets. A Type 52D destroyer surges forward. Below, a Type 039 submarine stalks in silence. EA-18G Growlers spool up to strike back. On USS Princeton, fingers hover over SM-6 keys. The clock starts now. The next minutes will decide if this ship stands or disappears beneath the waves. The South China Sea isn't just blue water on a map, it's one of the busiest arteries of world trade. Every day, tankers and cargo ships move through these lanes, carrying fuel, food, and tech that power modern life. Protecting that flow is why the USS Nimitz Carrier Group is here. Their mission: keep these routes open, even when others try to draw new borders on the waves. Across the horizon, China's Shandong Carrier Group sails in parallel, flanked by destroyers and a silent submarine below. It's not open war, but it's not peace either. Every move, every radar ping, every encrypted signal is a message. Both sides test nerves more than weapons, yet each knows a single miscalculation could turn simulation into disaster. For the sailors aboard USS Princeton, the tension feels heavier than the sea itself. They've drilled these scenarios countless times, but this one feels different. The formations are real, the planes overhead are armed, and the enemy submarine below could be within torpedo range. The hum of radar consoles mixes with the steady heartbeat of men and women who understand the stakes. If deterrence fails, they'll be the first to pay the price. High above, a Hawkeye circles, its radar net catching echoes of shadowed intent. Commanders on both sides play a quiet chess match, each move deliberate, each silence strategic. In Washington and Beijing, officials track the same data feeds the sailors see, knowing that one wrong signal could shift decades of balance. This is no drill. This is the moment when resolve meets risk. Who do you think blinks first when tension meets pride? Press 1 if the US holds firm, press 9 if China pushes harder. Because in this standoff, hesitation isn't just costly, it's fatal. 9:43 a.m. A sharp tone pierces the command deck. The radar operator calls out, "Multiple launches bearing 220. The icons bloom red across the display. The captain doesn't hesitate. Fire SM-6. Engage first wave. 2 missiles streak skyward from USS Princeton, smoke curling around the deck. Seconds later, the destroyers Chung-hoon and Kidd follow suit. The missiles arc high, then dive hunting targets at Mach 3. Far above, a Hawkeye relays tracking data to every ship in the group through CEC and Link 16, knitting them into one single combat brain. On radar, blips vanish 2 confirmed intercepts, but new ones appear. The Chinese Type 52D has launched YJ-18 anti-ship missiles, low and fast, skimming just meters above the sea. "Second wave inbound," shouts the tactical officer. The Nimitz orders its Super Hornets airborne, 8 fighters tearing into the sky, afterburners painting blue flame over the carrier deck. Below the surface, the Virginia-class submarine shadows the enemy formation, silent as the deep. Its sonar tracks the slow pulse of the Shandong carrier. Every second it creeps closer. If hostilities break out, it will strike first and vanish. Growlers online begin jamming sequence. Within moments, the EA-18Gs fill the air with electronic noise. Chinese radar screens flicker, distort, then go dark for 3 crucial seconds. It's enough. Super Hornets lock onto J-15 fighters closing from the west. Dogfights erupt white trails, slicing the sky as both sides spiral through the clouds. Missiles streak, flares bloom. A near miss sends shockwaves across the Princeton's deck, rattling every bolt. "Keep the line tight," the captain orders. Each ship adjusts position, forming a defensive wall around the Nimitz. It's a moving fortress, steel and purpose against chaos. In the CIC, voices overlap coordinates, intercept vectors, damage reports. The air smells of sweat and ozone. The crew moves on instinct now, drilled to perfection. Each impact, each radar echo could mean survival or disaster. Far to starboard, two civilian freighters begin to veer, broadcasting distress on open channels. The stakes are suddenly visible to all. Through the haze, one thought hangs over them all. This isn't a drill anymore. It's the first real test of who controls the South China Sea. 10:07 a.m. The radar screen flashes again, another swarm incoming. Smaller signatures this time, weaving low and fast. They're mixing cruise and drone decoys, says the intel officer. It's a classic saturation move. Overwhelm the defenses, force mistakes. Shift heading 5 degrees port. Bring CIWS to full auto, the captain orders. The ship tilts, slicing the waves as guns rotate into position. Twin phalanx cannons spin up, growling like chainsaws. Within seconds, the horizon erupts in orange flashes. Each burst carves the air, throwing tracer lines across the sea. A drone slips through, then another. Chung Hoon takes a near hit, its hull shuddering under the shockwave. Fire control teams sprint across decks, hoses and foam ready. "We're good," comes the reply, but voices tremble. The realization hits everyone. The enemy is adapting fast. Above, Super Hornets dive again, chasing J-15 that keep coming in pairs. Flares cut the sky, fragments rain down. The radio crackles with overlapping calls. Fox 2, Splash 1, followed by another warning, multiple YJ-18 inbound bearing 237. The crew knows what that means. These aren't tests anymore. The Princeton's SPY-1 radar burns hot, feeding, targeting data to the whole strike group. SM-6 away! Another missile launches, roaring skyward, a spear of light against the haze. Every impact buys seconds, but seconds are running out. On the Nimitz, the bridge is calm, controlled chaos. Commanders issue orders like surgeons, cutting through noise. All ships, close formation delta. The wall tightens, turning steel and discipline into a living shield. Then, silence unnerving and heavy. Only the hum of engines and distant thunder of guns. For a moment, no one breathes. Then the sonar tech whispers, "Contact new bearing, 180. Submarine launch detected. The blood drains from every face. It's coming from directly beneath them. The captain steadies his voice. "Countermeasure tubes prepare to fire." No one speaks now. Every heartbeat is a countdown. The ocean feels alive, tense, waiting for the next strike to break through. If you were on that deck right now, would you hold your nerve or fire first? Press 1 if you'd stand firm, 9 if you'd strike before they do. Because hesitation, out here, is how ships disappear. 10:19 a.m. The sonar's warning grows sharper. Torpedo in the water, multiple contacts. The bridge fills with controlled panic. Deploy countermeasures now. The ship jerks as decoys launch, spraying plumes of bubbles into the depths. Screens flicker, some signals fade, others multiply. Then a muffled explosion rattles the hull. Something hit nearby. But before the crew can recover, new contacts appear. Tiny dots, moving fast and erratic. "What are those?" the operator blurts out. The intel officer's face tightens. Mini-subs. Unmanned surface drones, each carrying torpedoes. No one's ever faced this mix before. They're smaller, faster, harder to hit, and they're closing in from all sides. "Helm! Increase speed, evasive pattern, bravo!" The Princeton heels hard, cutting sharp through foaming water. Deck crews cling to rails as twin phalanx cannons track and fire, tearing the sea apart with metal spray. One drone explodes just 50 meters off the port bow, sending a shockwave through the ship. Above, Super Hornets streak low, strafing the swarm with cannon bursts, while growlers jam their guidance signals. For a moment, chaos reigns, radar echoes overlap, comms crackle, and the line between machine and target blurs. Then, a coded ping from the deep, target acquired. The Virginia-class submarine has found the Shandong. It locks on, silent and patient. The tactical display flashes. Fire authorization requested. On the bridge, time slows. The captain's hand hovers above the console. Strike now and risk everything. Wait and lose the shot. Every officer feels the same weight pressing down. The air hums with tension as the ocean itself seems to listen. No one speaks. The next sound could decide who owns the South China Sea. 10:31 a.m. The silence snaps. Incoming torpedo, close range. The captain slams the console. Hard to starboard. Launch countermeasures. The Princeton tilts sharply as the crew braces. Two bursts echo underwater. Decoys fire, engines roar, and then a violent tremor shakes the hull. Water sprays across the deck. Impact near stern, but no breach, someone yells. The ship holds. Barely. Above, the sky turns into chaos. J-15 dive from the clouds, missiles streaking like lightning. Super Hornets break formation to intercept. Fox 3, one pilot shouts. Air-to-air missiles crisscross in the sun, contrails twisting like white scars. Two jets vanish in a flash, one Chinese, one American. On the horizon, the Shandong carrier looms, launching more aircraft. The Nimitz responds in kind, deck crews working at full speed, steam catapults hissing. The air war and sea war blur into one burning storm. Every second feels like the line between control and collapse. Below the waves, the Virginia makes its move. The order comes through Fire 1. A torpedo surges forward, leaving a trail of bubbles through the dark. It races toward the Shandong, silent and unstoppable. Halfway there, counter torpedoes launch from the Chinese escort. Explosions ripple through the depths. The sonar room waits 10 seconds. 9, 8 then. Silence again. Did it hit? No one knows. Back on the surface, the Princeton fires its last SM-6, intercepting a YJ-18 mere seconds before impact. The explosion blooms into a fiery wall, heat washing across the bridge. We're still in the fight, the XO says through gritted teeth. Then, something unexpected. Chinese vessels begin to turn away. One by one, radar tracks fade, retreating east. The radio crackles. Enemy disengaging. A stunned quiet spreads through the group. The Nimitz holds position, battle-scarred but afloat. For now, the sea is theirs. The crew exhales for the first time in an hour. Yet every sailor knows this wasn't victory, it was a warning. If you were standing there, watching the enemy fade into the horizon, what would you feel, relief or defiance? Press 1 if you'd call it victory, 9 if you think the real fight's still coming. Because sometimes, retreat isn't surrender, it's preparation. 11:10 a.m. The battle is over, but the silence feels heavier than the noise. Smoke drifts across the horizon where the last missiles fell. The USS Princeton limps beside the Nimitz, deck scorched, crew exhausted but alive. The ocean around them, moments ago a battlefield, is now eerily calm. Reports come in. Minor damage, no confirmed casualties, comms restored. Yet the crew knows what those numbers can't show the weight of what almost happened. They glance at one another, sweat-streaked and hollow-eyed, realizing how close they came to history's edge. Far above, satellites beam images to Washington and Beijing. Analysts freeze-frame the retreat, debating who blinked first. Some call it restraint, others call it fear. But all agree the balance in the South China Sea just shifted. For the US, the message is clear. Superiority still holds, but not forever. For China, it's a lesson today's retreat may shape tomorrow's resolve. The incident will be dissected in war rooms, newsrooms, and classrooms for years. The next clash will come faster, and it will hit harder. Allied radios check in Japan, Australia, the Philippines, each confirming status, each shifting patrol lanes. Merchant convoys edge back on altered routes. Markets twitch, insurers rewrite risk tables. None of it shows on the water, but every sailor feels the ripple. Night falls. The Nimitz group holds position. Lights dimmed. Radar sweeping a sky full of ghosts. On deck, sailors stand quietly, staring into dark water that almost swallowed them. Some whisper a prayer, others just breathe. As the sea settles, one thought echoes across every ship. This time they walked away. Next time, no one knows. If you were watching this unfold, would you call it peace or a pause before the storm? Press 1 if you think peace will hold. Press 9 if you believe the next clash is inevitable. Because in these waters, calm is never permanent, and every silence hides the sound of what's coming next.